Hello everyone. I'm audible. If I'm audible, just say yes in the chat, everyone. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah, I can hear you.
No, I'm just asking these people, the students have, as in. Hello everyone, please let me know if I'm audible properly in the chat. Okay.
We are getting a yes there.
No, they're just saying it. Okay. Hello everyone. Good evening, everyone. Okay, so as you already do know, today we are having the National Space Day. I know lots of people already do know why we celebrate that, and lots of people do not even know about that. Only you will know, like, yeah, today is the National Space Day. But why we do that, we do not have idea, maybe or not. So we are just going to have the detailed session on that only, like why we celebrate the National Space Day. And today we are having the Shanmukh sir, which is going to take the proper session on that. Sir is having lots of experience. I'm not going to tell you anything. Sir is going to tell by himself only. Sarah has done lots of things, and he'll be just going to take the session on this today. And whatever the queries you are having, you can just put in the YouTube chat, okay? And sir, you could, if you could just join with the phone as well, sir, and in the YouTube, so you could just follow the YouTube chats as well.
Okay.
So yes, okay. So that's all about from my side. Yes, sir. Please continue the session, sir.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And yeah, so I think you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, can I get a thumbs up in the chat? Can you see me while I'm speaking? And am I clearly audible and is my screen visible while I'm speaking? Okay, that is great. All right. Hello, guys. I firstly want to wish you a very happy National Space Day to all of you. And thank you for coming and joining this. And firstly, why do we actually take this thing? Why are we celebrating National Space Day? But other than this, there is also something else like that, right? Something called National Science Day. And when is that? Do you guys know when is National Science Day? If you know, can you drop the dates in the chat box? We'll see how many of you know. Yeah, that comes actually in February, right? The last week of February is National Science Day. But today, after so many months after that, we are then celebrating India's National Space Day. And why are we celebrating National Space Day? That is because we are honoring our most beloved Chandrayaan 3 mission that has landed on moon on that particular day, which is 23rd August 2023. So since 2023, every 23rd August, we celebrate in the honor of Chandrayaan 3, the Vikram lander, as well as the Pragyan rover, which made till the south pole of the moon. Hence, we are celebrating National Space Day on behalf of that. Okay, so why am I talking about Chandrayaan 3? What happened to Chandrayaan 2? What happened to Chandrayaan 1? What exactly is this Chandrayaan? So why should we celebrate it? Why are we even going to the moon? So, so until 3, why haven't we given it a name? What happened to Chandrayaan 2? What happened to Chandrayaan 1? Are they also have any special dates? So all this is a huge adventurous journey that has happened since last 20 years. So we will unveil the whole story of this moon's adventure. Okay. So the first thing that we are going to unveil is about Chandrayaan 1, which was just the orbiter. Now, when I say Chandrayaan, what exactly is this Chandrayaan? The word itself says, right? Chandra and the Yan. Chandra is nothing but the moon that we see every day in our day-to-day life, right? And there is Yan. What is this Yan? Yan is nothing but a Sanskrit term for vehicle. Chandra is also a Sanskrit word for moon. So it's a moon vehicle. Okay, so that's the first part, the first edition of Chandrayaan 1, which was an orbiter. Okay, then we had a Chandrayaan 2 mission, which was a lander, and we had a Chandrayaan 3. Though it was also a lander, it was actually supposed to be a torchbearer. It has given us a huge hope of lunar exploration. When I use the word lunar is also called as moon. So we are going to have a beautiful journey from here on, from our Earth till the surface of the moon. Why are we going to the moon? What do we want to study on the moon? What exactly is this whole mission about? We are going to unveil the whole thing. Okay. And wherever you get any doubts, whatever smallest doubts you have, you put in the chat box. I'm going to the chats as well along with this. So I'll go through that and I'll let you know. Okay. So the first thing, what exactly is this Chandrayaan? Chandrayaan is the word Chandra and the Yan. As simple as that. Chandra is moon and Yan is vehicle in Sanskrit. So together we club it to say moon vehicle. So we have to go to the moon, what do we need? To go to the moon, we need a moon vehicle, right? So we need that moon vehicle in order to land on the moon surface. Hence the word Chandrayaan. Moving on, why do we need to study the moon but? What is the use? We study everything on Earth, right? Then why do we need to spend a lot of money in order to go to the moon and study so specific there? So what is so specific about moon? What is so extraordinary about moon? Among all the different things, just by looking at the moon, what do we see on the moon? We search for rocks. And the second thing is, what if moon also might have had water on it, just like our Earth? What exactly is this moon? Moon is a smallest satellite, a natural satellite that our Earth has. When I use the word satellite, it is not something so, it is like our Earth is like a magnet and it is pulling our moon. So when it is pulling our moon revolves around the Earth. Now, they both are made together. When they are made together, is what scientists know. So they were expecting that moon also might have had water on it, right? Hence, they wanted to search for it. So obviously, moon also has rocks. So they'll be searching for rocks as well as they'll be searching for water. Now, what all they have rocks and they have water. Now, how do I get them? I need to search. So I can't directly go there and search for it. Can I go there and search for it directly? I can't go there as a person, right? So first I'll send my robots, I'll send my technology there, and I'll see if it is searchable for a human being to go there. So before we send humans onto the moon, we first send our technology onto the moon so that it will be easy for humans in the far future to go there easily for lunar exploration. So when I use the word lunar exploration, it means what? Exploring moon. So what do we want to explore? So far, with a little bit of knowledge that I have and lot of knowledge the scientists have, we only know that we can search for rocks and water. Who knows? There might be more surprises waiting for us on moon. But we will be going to search for rocks and for water. That is where the idea in 2018 has come for Chandrayaan 1. Okay, so this Chandrayaan 1 is a launch vehicle which was sent onto the moon. Okay, and the launch vehicle will separate a smallest satellite from that. Okay, so how does this whole process happen? Is the rocket going to land on the moon? No, the rocket does not land on the moon. So if you see inside this whole tube, at the top there is one white color tube, right? This white color tube is there at the top. That white tube is what is called as a capsule. That capsule will open up and it will launch a small satellite onto it. Okay. Once that launches a satellite onto it, it will go and land. So there are two things here. Either it can land or it can orbit. So before landing, we need certain pictures of it to see how is the surface, how is it going to respond. Because like our Earth has its own magnetic power, even Moon also has its own magnetic power. Right? Makes sense? So we need to understand that. That is the reason we are sending our beautiful launch vehicle onto the space, and that launch vehicle is going to send a small satellite onto the moon's orbit. So it is going to orbit. So when it is orbiting, it has taken around like 3,400 times of revolutions around it, around the moon, and it has sent us beautiful pictures. So many pictures it has sent. Okay, so when it was sending all these pictures, they have observed that there are a small little amount of water molecules. Don't think that when we say there are so many water in the moon surface, it's not like oceans that we find. There are so many little small amount of water molecules. Only water molecules, little amount of water in the surface of the moon. Now, the water discovery. It's a huge discovery for everyone. That India, by us, with our technology, we have found everything that water might exist on lunar surface. So hence we have to send a satellite to land on it now. That was our first challenge, to send a orbiter into the orbit of the moon. Now we are sending an another lander to land on it. We just have the technology to send a orbiter there. We haven't had the technology back then. Then now, how do we reach the moon now? Because we just reached the near point of the moon to revolve around it. We haven't reached on to the moon, right? We haven't landed on the moon like this. So how do I land on the moon now? So there are certain things. First, we blast off boom, the first boom that you see in the TVs. 3, 2, 1, that thing lift off, correct? Then what happens? Then it loops around our Earth. Slowly it loops around our Earth, and it will be boosted onto the moon's orbit. So the moon will catch that satellite, and moon will make it revolve around it. Okay, moon will make it revolve around it. Right. Now, once that is done, what is the next step? Then what happens then? Then you land on it. So to land, what do you need? A landing module, right? We need a landing module. So while it is landing, moon does not have the atmosphere that our Earth has. Our Earth has a huge atmosphere, right? You know, when something is coming, you see the fire that is coming up, right? And our Earth pulls it at a certain speed. Similarly, even moon is also going to pull it at a certain speed. So it is going to come and fall on it, and it is going to land on the surface of the moon. Then only I can study it. So, our second challenge, we are going to land. And right after beautiful 10 years of our technology and building a Chandrayaan 2, Chandrayaan 2 was launched. And the state separation happened, and the orbiter was successfully placed in the orbit of the moon, and the lander was successfully separated from the orbiter to land on the moon. But did the lander come and land on the lunar surface? It couldn't. But do I say did we fail? No, we haven't failed. We learned. We learned how moon responds to what we send. We learned our lesson. Then did ISRO stop there only because one launch vehicle couldn't go and land on it? No. ISRO is never going to stop. Then came just right after 4 years. They have got everything just right after 4 years with solid back. They have built the powerful rockets in the history of ISRO, and that GSLV Mark III, LMV Mark III, has launched into space gloriously. And that is when Chandrayaan 3 has launched. And it happened on July 14th, 2023. 2023. It was launched. It was a great launch. The liftoff was amazing. And then there was separation. And then there were so many maneuvers. We use the word maneuvers because it is going to rotate around the Earth, and at one point it will be boosting off very quickly so that the moon can catch it. Okay, the moon will catch. The moon also having some magnetic pull, right? It's like the magnetic pull. So moon is going to catch that thing, and you are going to revolve around the moon now. Slowly, slowly, you start to come towards the moon, towards the moon, towards the moon, much closer to it, much closer to it. And at one point, it is going to land. Now, where should I land? Huge moon surface is there. Now, where should I land? That's the challenge. So we took our Chandrayaan 3 as a huge challenge, saying that, what did we say? We wanted it to land on such a place where no one has landed so far, at the most difficult spot on the moon surface. And that is the south pole of the moon. And yes, we had a successful orbiter in the space that is guiding the lander where to land. And once that is done, there was a nice, slow, soft landing of this huge landing module. It's called soft landing. Why do I use the word soft landing? Because I haven't thrown it on like a football onto the lunar surface. Was it a football? No. It was a proper soft landing. Just imagine. No one was there for you to drive. You are not seeing anything on the moon, but you have sent something that knows how to go there and land. Huge technology, right? So hence, it has gone onto the moon and it slowly landed on the south pole of the moon. Okay. Now you guys tell me, where is south pole on the moon? You see this moon, right? The above part is north and the below part is south. And you see the moon on this side and there is the other side of the moon. Our Earth's rotation is happening around the sun, right? So our, if this is a sun, if my left fist you're seeing, if this is a sun, so if it is want to rotate as well as revolve like this around the sun, okay, around the sun, it is going to rotate as well as revolve, right? That is how our Earth is going to rotate around the sun. But how does moon rotate around our Earth? Does it rotate like this? Does it also have 24 hours rotation? No, it does not rotate. It finishes one rotation in only one revolution. So we won't see the other side. See my hand. You're seeing the front side of my palm, but you're not seeing the back side of my palm. So imagine that my fist is my sun. Okay. Now I am taking my palm and I am rotating. See here. Am I changing my palm? Yes, I am changing. But people are there on this fist. They are not on the screen. Okay. See, are people on my fist are able to see the other side of the palm? No, exactly, right? They are not able to see. They are only able to see the one side of my palm. Hence, hence, what happens? They're only able to see this side. So this side of the moon is what is called as near side of the moon. What do we say? This is called as near side of the moon. And this is what we see. And that is the first picture that I have put in my first slide. If you want to see this one, what is this side then? Did you ever see this huge side of the moon? This one, see, there are so many spots on this, right? I'll show you another picture of the moon now. The first picture that we have seen in the first page. This one, the top right. Do you see the picture? Do you see that picture? That picture has lesser spots on it, right? It has a huge black spot. But are there small spots on this? They are called as craters. They are called as craters. Now, these craters are of bigger size on the near side, on this side. On the other side, there are so many small craters on the other side, right? And that is what where we have landed. That means we can't see with our eyes, even if I have the world's biggest telescope, which can point out to the moon. Understood my point? So that is where I have landed my lunar lander. That is where ISRO has landed on the far side of the moon. And that was the biggest challenge. And India, ISRO has successfully done that with its own indigenous technology. And kudos to all the scientists of ISRO who have made it possible. So there was a soft landing. And finally, on 23rd August 2023, we had our final landing, which is called as the historic touchdown. We use the word touchdown because it has touched the surface. It is not above the surface. It has exactly touched the surface. It has landed on the surface and it can take pictures on it. And there is something called as a small rover inside this module, which can actually come out through it. Okay, it can actually come out through it and can explore the lunar surface. And that is what we are exactly going to see in this one. And hence, because it has touched the moon on 23rd August 2023, we celebrate this honorable project as National Space Day. You agree? So this is the world record achievement, the first one and only space lander to land on the south pole of the sun. So India became the very first country in the world to reach this dark, cold, icy region. So I'm using the three things. What is dark, cold, icy region? Because it is on the far side of the moon, the sun will fall on that spot only for 15 days. The other 15 days, it is going to be pitch dark. And it is going to reach to a lowest temperatures of minus 135, 102, minus 200 degrees Celsius. It is going to be very, very icy. So we only have that 15 days of window period to send something out of this lander. And what is the name of this lander? Do we have a name of this lander? Yes, we do. The name of this lander is nothing but the Vikram lander. Okay, so this is the lunar surface and the point where the touchdown has happened. That exact spot is called as the Shiv Shakti point, and that is where your Vikram lander has touched down. And from there, a small rover comes out of the lander and it will start its own exploration by taking the samples of the rock and by searching for the water bodies and keeps and stores inside the landing module. Okay, so who are the heroes of this team Chandrayaan 3 now? It is these two. You see a small rover that is coming out of this one? That rover is called as Pragyan rover, and the one that is landed is called as Vikram lander. Vikram lander is the one that was carrying the Pragyan rover, and Pragyan rover will go all around the lunar surface and it is going to take the samples into it, right? So let us all congratulate and remember the historic achievement of ISRO on behalf of all our space enthusiasts. And what are so many? Do you see any facts here? That is the reason why August 23rd is now officially celebrated as National Space Day, right? And you know, one more interesting fact, when the Pragyan rover has come out, it has actually put the wheels print on that part, which is an Indian logo, and it is going to be there because moon does not have an atmosphere, and those prints on the wheel prints of our uh, Pragyan rover on the lunar surface, they won't disappear because there is no atmosphere, there is no wind, there is nothing like that, and it is going to stay there forever. And the location where the touchdown is Shiv Shakti Point, right? And the footprints are going to stay for millions of years now. And that's a proud achievement. So this is Chandrayaan 3. So what's the future? Chandrayaan 4. Why? What do we do with the Chandrayaan 4? We are going to bring back everything that these rover and the lander has collected. Now this lander, which has already landed, is going to assist us to give us a location, is going to communicate us probably in 2028. That is what we are expecting. The Chandrayaan 4 goes there. It is going to touch down again and it is going to collect all the rocks back to the Earth. And let us all wait for that to happen. One more proud moment to wait for. And what did we learn from this? Failure is not the opposites of success. It's a stepping stone of the success. ISRO has never stopped. There was never stopping in ISRO. Yeah, they have learned their lesson in 2019, but 2023 was more powerful than 2019. They have landed in the most challenging place no one has ever even started. So never stop reaching for your stars. And I wish you guys all a very happy National Space Day. So now the most your favorite time is your question and answers time. And we thank all our future scientists, present scientists who have given all their time and valuable knowledge into this space exploration. And who all are upcoming space enthusiasts, I thank them too. So yeah, so you can ask questions now. You can put your questions here and we can go through the questions and I'll answer all your questions. what happened to Chandrayaan 1, 2, and 3. So Chandrayaan 1 was in the first one. That was the first attempt. Hence we say the word Chandrayaan 1. And 2023, it was the Chandrayaan 3, which has just happened in 2023. So Chandrayaan 1 was the first attempt, Chandrayaan 2 was the second attempt, and Chandrayaan 3 was the third attempt to send our technology, our lander, to the moon surface. Oh, that is Saptarshi. How does a rocket work? That is a good question. How does a rocket work? Okay, so where do you want me to start? So a rocket has rocket is very long. Okay, and in that long rocket, what you see, the above top white color one, what you see, that's the only part where your satellite is. Everything else is the fuel to put this satellite into the space. Okay, now this the what is our challenge? We need to put our satellite onto the space. But why do we need so much fuel? Because your Earth is going to constantly pull you, right? When you go into the space, it is going to pull you. Okay, how do you understand this? Take a small paper. Okay, when you throw it, what happens? It comes and falls down, right? Does it go up all by itself? For example, let's say I'm holding something in my hand and I'm dropping. It is falling down, right? Is it going up? No, it is falling down. Now, when it falls down all by itself without even changing, but when I put it like this, does it go all by itself above me? It doesn't go, but it falls down all by itself, right? So I need to oppose this one. So to oppose this one, I need a lot of force. I need a lot of force. In order to have that lot of force, I need a huge fuel, lot of fuel. That is why I fill a lot of fuel until and unless I put that satellite into the orbit of the moon. Okay, so there are so many separations. That's why I use the word something called stage separation. At every stage, a small module is going to leave, come back to our Earth, and others are going to go towards the moon. And that is how the rocket works. So Isha is asking, Chandrayaan 3 landed successfully near the lunar South Pole region. If the moon's gravity is only about one-sixth of the Earth's gravity, why couldn't Vikram simply switch off its engine and fall slowly? Exactly. So when I say something, okay, that is a very good question. I really appreciate what that question. Okay. So when this is there, it is falling down, right? It falls down with its own speed because I'm on Earth. Like you have told, the same thing that is in my hand, it is going to fall at a one-sixth of its speed, right? Right? But still, that is also a speed, right? So when you say slowly it should come, there should be something inside that should make it slow, right? Because in the space, you don't have any speed. It is going to freely float. Once you come near to the moon is going to pull you. Though it is lesser than our Earth, there will still be a significant amount of pull, right? Suppose, for example, take a small you take any small stone, you throw it all by itself. Okay, it is a very weak stone. What happens? It'll splash, correct? It'll splash. Same thing. If I throw my Vikram lander without any engines, just like that, it can't just go and land like this, right? It is going to take the moon's gravity and it is going to fall like this. Though the speed is less, it still falls, right? And if it is falling, what is the guarantee that it won't fall like this? It won't fall like this. What? It won't fall like this. It won't fall like this. Is there any guarantee? Why is it going to exactly fall like this only? Right? Hence, we need to control our motion to go and land. Right? We need to reduce the speed immensely. We need to reduce our speed immensely to come and land on this lunar surface. Okay? Hence, we need to slow that down. So we control our speeds and not just controlling the speed. Remember one thing, we are not sending our rocket like this, right? We are sending our rocket like this. It is going to rotate. So let's say my three fingers are the legs of the lander. Okay. Now that lander is like this. It is rotating like this, correct? It is not going to rotate like this and go like this and hit it, correct? Because I am going to rotate like this, I have to change my orientation like this before I land, correct? So that orientation change is also going to happen in my own control, right? So that is what has to change. So one is you are controlling the orientation, and also one you are slowing your speed and then landing softly. Hence, I use the word soft landing. Yes. So what are the people of Chandrayaan 3? So if you are talking about the scientists who have done Chandrayaan 3, so Chandrayaan 3 is a project that isn't for a few years. Chandrayaan is a huge project that happens over the decades. So there are a huge team for Chandrayaan for this to happen. There are so many scientists, so many project scientists who have helped Chandrayaan 3 to reach the place where it has reached. And still, the same scientists are working towards Chandrayaan 4 and the upcoming missions, Gaganyaan, and so many other missions as well. Yeah. Where are the moon rocks kept? That is a very good question. So, this Pragyan rover, which has actually, so this is, let's say this is the rover. So, the rover will spread its thing coming like this outside. So now the Pragyan rover will come out onto the moon surface. Now this is the rover that is here. Let's say this black color one you're seeing, this is the rover. Now this rover has only 14 days of time to roam there. Why? Because there won't be sunlight after that. It is going to be very, very icy. And if it is icy, you can't roam there very easily, right? Because it is so cold. So you have to roam there only in that time. So the Pragyan rover has come out. It has gone. It has taken the samples. It has collected some samples. It has taken the images, and it'll again go back into the landing module. And whenever we want, we can ask it to come out in the safe time, and it'll do its exploration. What is ISRO? Okay, ISRO is Indian Space Research Organization. It is a space body that our India has. It's our own Indian one. Just like how NASA is there for America, ESA is there for Europe. For an India, it is ISRO. And it has been there since a long time. Since the time of independence, we had our own ISRO. And the first satellite that we have sent into the space is called Rohini satellite. Okay. From there, using different space organizations help in order to take a place into the space exploration. And being an indigenous one, it has been a long journey and we did it. So Chandrayaan 3 landed successfully. Yeah, I have answered that. Sir, you can tell the few names of scientists who are in the name. All right. Okay, that I can do. So Chandrayaan 3, okay. Chandrayaan 3 people, one of the main person was Somnath. Somnath was so he is a chairman at that time. Under his vision, he's also was under his vision, Chandrayaan 3 has taken place. The project director was, I think, Veera Muthuvel, if I'm not wrong. Sir Veera Muthuvel, he's a pioneer, and he was a project director for this one. And I think there was one lady as well. Her name is Kalpana Kalahasti, and she was also huge. She has done the huge contribution to the Chandrayaan 3 mission. And these three people are the main heads of this one. And there is a huge team also going on in the same project. So it wasn't only the men here. It was also the women. It was who was equally given chance. Men and women, overall scientists have proved that we can go to space with all India's technology. And that is a proud moment. Okay. Okay, I'm going through the chats. Can you please tell? All right. Are there any more questions you can ask me? What happened to Chandrayaan 1, 2, and 3? I have told that. Okay. Any other questions? When will Gaganyaan launch? Gaganyaan is going to launch around 2030 if there are no delays. So they are doing so our own Indian astronaut you have which who has already been sent into the space through the Russian mission. He's also going. So Gaganyaan launch is going to happen around 2030. The dates haven't finalized yet, but the testings and all are going on very quickly on time, and the project is going really great. And yeah, around 2030 you can expect it to happen. So lunar is actually the Latin word of moon, basically. We use the word lunar. Just like for sun we say solar, right? For moon we say lunar. Who is Vikram Sarabhai? So Vikram Sarabhai, okay, that is a very good question. So Vikram Sarabhai was Indian physicist and he was an astronomer also. And he was the one who has actually initiated this ISRO. Under his name, ISRO was built. He was the one who has established ISRO. And not just that, he has also developed our India to become a nuclear power. For those people who don't know about nuclear power, we also have nuclear power stations, nuclear fusion reactors, all these things that are going on. And he was one of the reasons for this to happen. And what are the ways to become a scientist? Okay, that is a very good question. Okay, so the ways to become scientist is to study science. And I wouldn't say that I wouldn't restrict you guys to only study science. Back then, to become a scientist, you have to study science, but now you can study technology and science. And you can study only technology. Again, you can still become a scientist because now everywhere computers are there. So, what I would suggest you guys is to be with the current market, learn the current market skills, and look out for ISRO, look out for NASA, keep out for keep out the knowledge of what all are happening. And there are astronomy Olympiads that are going on, participate in them, and there are ISRO summer events that are going to happen. Go there, and whenever there are launches happening, you can actually go and visit the launches all by yourself. You can go to if it is happening in the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Nellore in the south, you can actually attend that as well. There exactly a few days before the launch, there will be a launch window that is going to happen. Like for the audience to go, you can give your names and you can go with your parents and you can watch. So first participate actively in this field. Once you do that, eventually you will love to study the space thing and you can learn. You can do your bachelor's in aerospace engineering, aeronautical engineering, computer science engineering. Space is the only thing where anyone from any background can come and become scientist here. We need everyone's expertise in space. So keep a very good knowledge of what all are going with ISRO, with NASA, with ESA, what all is going in this space exploration, lunar exploration. Keep yourself updated. And yes, I can see you guys as scientists one day, definitely. Now, where is Chandrayaan 1, 2, 3? Okay, Chandrayaan 1, it is just an orbiter. Now it is not working. Chandrayaan 2 is working. That is what has guided Chandrayaan 3 to go and land. Okay, so all this Chandrayaan 2 is in the orbit. It is orbiting around the moon. Chandrayaan 3 has landed. The Vikram lander has landed, and the Pragyan rover is still inside it. So they're all working. Meaning of Chandrayaan, yeah, like I told you, Chandrayaan is moon plus Yan, right? Chandra is moon and Yan is vehicle, so it is moon vehicle. When will Bharat Antariksh Space Station? That is a very good question. Like now we have International Space Station. I think we are going to have BSS, which is Bharat Antariksh Space Station. BSS is what we are calling right now. So that is going to come in 2037. That is proposed project. It hasn't officially been, a date has come. Official year has definitely has come, but official year has not yet come. Official date has not yet come, but it is happening. So how they are going to put there, they are not going to send the whole space station there. They're going to make small modules. Every year or every few intervals of time, they are going to send each module and they are going to connect all the modules there. And by 2047, if I'm not wrong, we'll have a working Bharat Antariksh Space Station, if I'm not wrong. How to be an astronomer? Okay, that is a very good question. So first thing, you have to think about the curiosity that you have is beautiful. It is very good. You have to keep up with that curiosity. And I would suggest you to go through math and science because math and science are very important for astronomy. See, everything that you see in YouTube, everything that I teach, they are all just the conclusions. To come to that conclusion, there is a huge process that goes on beyond. That is all math and physics. So I would really want you to go through math and physics thoroughly, and they are not at all hard. Once you try it, once you learn it, you'll definitely get there. It is definitely a learning thing. That's it. You will definitely get there. That is how you can get it. And then after that, you can go through your bachelor's. Like I told you, based on your interests, you can choose any technology stream. But if you're specifically interested in astrophysics, you can take astrophysics or astronomy, and you can get into the science, and you can you can apply for your PhDs. From PhD, you can go into your scientist jobs. You can become a professor, you can become a scientist, and you can contribute to all these space missions. But there is also another way to become an astronaut. That is also another beautiful question. So now, this astronaut, becoming an astronaut is a very interesting thing. To become an astronaut, you can be anything, including you can become an Air Force pilot. Even if you're an Air Force pilot, you have a huge chance of becoming an astronaut because someone should be there inside the rocket who has to control the rocket, right? And pilot is the one who can actually control the rocket. So So you can also choose that stream. So space is the one stream which can join each and every person from all the streams and club them and make them scientists. So it is your interest. Keep up with the updates with ISRO and go through ISRO pages and go through ISRO websites, ISRO colleges. Yes, you can definitely become one day. Please can register for the launch. It is in ISRO, isro.gov.in. Uh, You can go there and there will be update. It will be only going to happen 2 days or 3 days before. I don't think they'll be giving for everything, but for Chandrayaan 3, they have actually given that. So you have to go through that. When Chandrayaan 4 happened, it hasn't happened yet. It is going to happen in 2028 is what we are expecting to happen because they have to bring all the scientific missions back to scientific instruments, scientific missions that they have proposed, which have already have been done back to our Earth. Sir, how to go to space? So by all ourselves, we can't go right now, but we are expecting space tourism to happen in next decade, 10 to 15 years. But that is going to be very commercial. But other than that, as an astronaut, if you want to go into the space, the best way to go is you can become a pilot and you can join the Air Force. And as a pilot, also you can become an astronaut. And because your physical strength is one of the most important things, so look out for your health, look out for your knowledge, look out for your studies, academic background. Make sure that you're active with all the space projects, every little thing that is about the space you go through it, meet people, and make friends with them. I'm your friend, right? You made me all friends. All of you guys are my friends. So like that, you have to make a lot of people friends, right? So what happened to Aryabhatta? What happened to Aryabhatta? Aryabhatta satellite. Aryabhatta is also one of the satellites. It was a communication satellite. It was sent right after, I think that was the first satellite to put, but the launch vehicle was Rohini rocket, I guess. So it served its purpose back then. It did a beautiful communication. It helped us to build our communication network back then. But after that, we have sent so many satellites. So now I don't think Aryabhatta is in a working condition. What is the name of a solar system? Mm, we don't have any name for solar system. Solar system itself is the name. Is there going to be AI involved in space? Definitely, there is going to be AI involved in space to make things easier for us. And how to become a researcher? That is a very good question. So research means you have to do something unique by yourself. So how do you get that unique idea? You get a unique idea by knowing different ideas that people have solved. So how did they solve? How did the approach happen? What all did they use in order to get there? Right? This kind of mindset is what you have to build from a very young age. When you build this kind of mindset from the very young age, you can actually reach there. Definitely you can reach there. And what I mean by what is a tag researcher called as? So once you finish your 10th class, you go to the intermediate, you take science stream. That is what I would suggest you to take. Then only you'll be able to choose any technology stream or science field in your bachelor's. Bachelor's is BSc or BTech. You can choose any subject. But if you want to take specifically physics, that is also fine. But I would suggest you to go to technology, because everywhere there is computer science. If you have that basic computer science knowledge, it is going to immensely help you in your masters and in your further research, future research career. So when you go to your masters, you can do M.Tech, you can do M.Sc Astrophysics. So many institutes are there who are giving these courses. You can also go abroad and study. You can also do that in India. India has so many good colleges like Indian Institute of Astrophysics, like Indian Institute of Science, Raman Research Institute. All these are the institutes who gives you masters, who gives you integrated PhDs. So the word PhD is very important here. The philosophy of doctorate, we say PhD. That is where you become an actual researcher. So you are going to have your own problem. You have to solve your own problem in your own way. So see how beautiful it is. If you can prove yourself that you are capable of solving a problem, then next step is to go to a scientist. Mhm. Okay. So NASA's full form is National American Space Astrology. No, no, no. It's not that. No. It is not. It is not. Nothing related to astrology. Nothing related to astrology at all. So NASA is the full form of NASA is very, very interesting. So it is National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Yeah. It is also national, but specific to USA, United States of America. Okay, and then yeah, which is the first satellite? Aryabhatta is the first satellite. How does Chandrayaan communicate to Earth from a long distance? That is a very good question. So you see that we use our phones, right? We use our phones to talk to people. How do are we communicating? The radio towers, right? You see towers in the middle of the cities, at the outskirts of the cities, huge towers, right? So those towers will transmit our phone signals from us to the satellite. Those are the towers they are going to do it. So we have towers on our Earth that are going to receive the signals that the satellite gives, and the towers is going to give it to the office where everything is being managed. Can a rocket fall on the Earth while orbiting? No, while orbiting it can't fall because the Earth has captured it. Okay. Once the Earth is captured an object in its orbit, it won't come off. It'll be until and unless something goes and hit it. It is going to stay in the orbit. Sir, can we use radioactive materials for making lander? Why do we have to use radioactive materials? That is the first question I would have. We don't have to use. One thing about the materials for making a lander is it should be able to sustain the heat. So when something is falling with a huge uh, speed, it is going to have a lot of heat on it, right? So it should be able to sustain that heat. If it can sustain that much heat, then your material is enough. You don't have to use a radioactive material. Okay. And to another thing is to use in your material thing is your material should be cheaper. You can't use an expensive material because our space explorations can never be costlier. We have to make it as cheaper as possible, as efficient as possible. Then only we can send as many missions as we can do, right? Yeah. And will AI have a big impact on space station? See, AI is a tool which just helps us run things without our help. That's it. We are just automating it. Initially, you used to have gears in the car, right? Now you have automated car, right? Similarly, to do certain calculations, we always don't need a human intelligence. We can use artificial intelligence to do those calculations and to take certain decisions for us to make a human work easier. That is what AI does, nothing else. How to become a person like Vikram Sarabhai? That is a very good question. So Vikram Sarabhai is a very inspiring person. He has done a lot. The story of Vikram Sarabhai, I would definitely encourage you guys to go through his biography. And he's an Indian physicist. He's a pioneer in physics. He has done his masters in physics, and he's also an astronomer. And he has given a huge contribution into our nuclear power, making our Indian a nuclear power. So it's basically physics where his journey has started with. So I know you as being kids, you all has that scariness about math and physics, but trust me, it is not at all scary. Once you start loving it, you're never going to leave math and physics. I used to hate math and physics when I used to be a kid. Now I am only doing math and physics now. I don't hate it at all. I know I don't hate it. Is it tough? Yes, it is definitely tough. And that is what makes it challenging for me, right? Every morning to learn something, that is what is going to make it challenging for me. That is what is going to be interesting, right? If something is so easy to get it, where is the interest? Space is so far away. That is why it is making us so interesting, right? If it was just outside your bedroom, will you ever be as interested as now about the space? No, right? That's it. Why sunrays surrounding the Milky Way? That is the play of the gravity. Everything that has some weight will have gravity. So, because sun has mass, it will take gravity. If gravity is like the magnetic pull, so everything will be pulled. So, while pulling it, if it is revolving, it doesn't go and fall into it. It just revolves. Similarly, the center of the Milky Way is pulling everything around it. So, that is why everything starts to revolve around the Milky Way. How does Chandrayaan communicate? Yeah, I have answered that question. And why did Chandrayaan 3 operate for only 14 Earth days when lunar days about 27 Earth days? That's a very good question. So 27 Earth days in that, Chandrayaan 3 is see, Chandrayaan 3 is still working now. The Pragyan rover, it is only serving for 14 days. That's it. But if they still have some other scientific experiment to conduct, it will again come out and it can still work it. The Chandrayaan 3 Vikram lander is still working. It is in still working condition. They are still studying. They are taking the minerals. They are studying it. There are so many instruments on the Vikram lander, which is going to analyze. It is not only working for 14 days. It is working every day and whenever they want it, basically. Okay. Okay, you love math and physics. That is very good, sir. If I learned the Voyager is reached till Neptune. No. Yeah, that is a very good question. Voyager 1 has actually it has went outside our solar system, and that is a huge achievement for our world, for our Earth, because that is a one thing that us as a human has sent something into the space, and it has actually crossed our solar system. Why do we need a galaxy? We don't require a galaxy. The universe works in such a way that the galaxies are formed because that's the play of gravity. Sir, are you a scientist? No, I am not a scientist. I am yet to become a researcher. So I have to do my PhD. I haven't done it. I have finished my master's in astrophysics from Osmania University. So the next I have to do is get a PhD and hopefully become a scientist too. So stars that have, okay, what is the center of the galaxy? Center of the galaxy. That is a very interesting question. At the center of the galaxy, there is a huge black hole, very massive black hole. That is what is there at the center of the galaxy. Sir, do you want to go to the lunar? Yes, definitely one day. Why not? That would be my dream. Sir, if I learn about space, my brother would be like, yes, you should definitely teach him, encourage people. Once you know something, teaching is the best way, and I am choosing the same thing. Teach people about what you have learned, and that is what is going to give you motivation to learn more. You should teach everyone. So, what is a roadmap to become a researcher from 10th? Okay, after 10th, you can choose, you can go into your intermediate, your 11th and 12th, whatever board it is, IB, CBSE, IGCSE, whatever type of board it is, you do your 11th and 12th. Make sure that you're having math and physics and science, basically math and science as one of your majors in your 11th and 12th. After that, you can do a BTech or a BSc in physics or engineering physics, or like I told, make sure that there is a small amount of computer science in it, so that currently everything is computer science. So make sure that computer science is involved, so that you are, see, in your in 11th and 12th, you are, you know, you are introduced to coding, right? So in your bachelor's and your master's, you can definitely choose something that also has computational part, which is going to help you in your research. And then after that, you can choose in masters, you can, so why, so how to get to the masters? There are so many entrance exams. Like for example, if you want to do it in IIT, there is something called IIT Jam. That is for science students who have done BSc. If you have done BTech, then you can write GATE and get to IITs and other research institutes, and you can do your masters, or you can do integrated PhD, which is called M.Sc plus PhD in various institutes, you can do that. Sir, if I then after your master's, then you can apply for the PhD. There is one entrance exam right after your master's, which is called as CSIR NET or GATE. If you crack the or just there are three exams, and few other institutes have their own exams. If you write them, if you crack these exams and give the interviews, you can get a PhD seat there. Or you can also try abroad. Other universities, prestigious universities outside India who offer PhDs in astrophysics, astronomy, you can apply there and become a researcher there. Is Vikram okay? Is there a specific magnet in the galaxy that controls the whole galaxy? No, it is not about the magnet, Neha Chopra. Yeah, it is not about the magnet. It is the gravity. It's a play of the gravity. Gravity is the force just like your magnetic force. So gravitational force will make it to pull things out towards it. So which makes it revolve around it. Okay. So why is a Pluto dwarf planet? Because for a planet to become a planet, there are three criterias. Okay. Just for example, if I want to get an admission into a school, I have some criteria, right? I should pass the before class. Similar to that, for a planet to become a planet, it should have some criteria. One thing, it should be spherical. Another thing, it should have its surroundings clean. That means it should have a grip or a very good, what do you say, balance in its surrounding. For example, Earth is there, Moon is in its control, right? Like that, Pluto does not have control over its surrounding because of some kind of gravitational imbalance, because it is the last, right? So there are so many things that are around it. So its surroundings is not in its own control. It keeps on changing. Hence, Pluto was taken outside of its segments of planets. Yeah. What happens if center black hole becomes big? It won't grow bigger because that is the size which has stopped. It won't grow bigger. 10618 is the center of our galaxy. No, 10618 is one of the supermassive black holes, which is the most massive supermassive black hole so far we have discovered. But that is not at the center of our galaxy. Our center of our galaxy, the black hole name is Sagittarius A. That is the galaxy that is the black hole that is at the center of our galaxy. Okay. So yeah, you have all asked so many interesting questions, and I hope that this session has helped you all a lot. And I believe I could answer almost all the questions. I think I have answered almost all the generalized questions, if I'm not wrong. And thank you for this session, and thank you for joining at this hour and listening to me. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone.